Hello, welcome to Daytona. It's time for pole day qualifying here for the Daytona 500, and alongside me, like he will be for most of the season, is Stephen Pollard III. As the car's rolling out, say hi, Stephen.
Hi, guys. I wasn't here for the final two Homestead races, but now I'm back.
Well, first car out on the track. How about a rookie for Roush Fenway, Mason Powers?
Getting that experience first off the bat, that's kind of good. Running that silver Subway National Guard car.
Yep, with Little League on the car. I can't really say a whole lot for him because I don't really follow a lot of the names in other series. But making his debut here for the Cup Series, so we'll have to see how he can do in a car that Alex Perkle piloted last season.
I think he did pretty good in P2's London. I think I might get the name wrong, but I think you remember him doing pretty good in the F1 series.
Who knows? More rookies here. Ash Curtis in the 78. We'll follow everyone as they're going along, but we want to cover everyone in this session first. This is the first of two qualifying groups here for Daytona, and if you're in this group, you'll be in this group all season long, so no worries.
I have raced with Ash Curtis before, and I don't remember leagues, but I know I've seen race. He's a really good talent. We can see what he can do. He's DJ Curtis, his second driver, but still very talented for being a second driver.
Well, and we have a car that's actually ran a lap now, but we'll talk Stephen Pollard third here first. Stephen Pollard the third here first. I was trying to say words. Here comes the first car to set a lap. That's Hiroshi Kazuyoshi. We'll get to the Japanese import later. But Stephen Pollard the third, a veteran of the series, ran a little bit last season, took season 2 off, but was in the chase in season 1. Yeah, it did terrible in that 22 car.
And let's see how he can do in that RCR car. The car did very well with Eric in a race in the beginning of the series and fell off, but still a good performance.
Yeah, and the car's still fairly high in owner's points, though. Now, talking about owner's points, here's a car with no owner's points, and a driver carrying about a 90-race winless streak, Gene Sanford. Not much to say here, I think.
And that's an MWR Dodge, or I think it's Bill Davis, I'm not sure.
No, it is a Bill Davis Racing Dodge. We'll have to get the teammates, but this car has to make it into the show either on time or through the duels, because it doesn't have points. Right now, fastest, though, of the cars in this session. Hiroshi Kazuyoshi, though, the Japanese import, after a terrible truck season, makes the move up to both the Cup and Nationwide, while sticking with the truck series, so...
It's basically pulling a Danica Patrick.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not sure it's going to be a great move for Hiroshi Kazuyoshi, but we like to be positive in the series.
Honestly, I'm pulling for the 59 to make the 500, because this is like the crappiest car in Sons. They made like 58 in qualifying that year, and I'm really hoping they can perform.
Well, here's the car that was last year's number 10. Doesn't have points for 10, though, so we'll have to make it in on time somehow. Doesn't have points to fall back on. It's DJ Curtis, one of the mini rookies in the series this season.
And one of the, NB2 Motorsports, one of the failed Bobby Ginn, the Bobby Ginn guy who was a scammer, but...
Yeah, NB2 Motorsports. A great team in this series so far. They've won the last 3 California races, so we'll have to watch out for them. And we haven't even talked about him yet, and Max Newirth has already lost a motor this season.
Well, that 4 team was from Morgan McClure, and they did struggle after losing Kodiak, and I think the struggles have continued.
Well, that does mean that no matter what happens, Max Newirth will start at the back of his Gatorade Duel.
Yeah, that's
currently was 10th quick.
Well, remember, if you wreck in this qualifying session, you have to start back in Duel, but not in the back of the 500, so you get a mulligan at least, if you make it at least.
Well, how about this? We're going to talk about the guy who drove the 18 Nationwide last season, now driving the 18 in the Cup, making his debut. Jake Bassinger, a very talented guy down there.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have the look so much last season, but we'll see how he can do with Gibbs up here in the top series rather than just in the secondary series.
He had a horrible crash at Pig Streak, so I hope he recovered fully from that to start the season off.
And now we'll talk the second of 6 Roush cars in the field, Dylan Casella in the 06. No points for this car, though, unfortunately, so they'll have to make it in on time.
Well, that was Todd Cleaver and David Reagan's car, so I don't really expect much out of him.
How about Dylan Casella? Have you seen anything of him or no?
David Casella. I can see him.
Dylan Casella.
Oh, I don't know what Dylan's.
Okay, well then let's talk about Ben Newirth here in car 23. The second of the Bill Davis cars, as Jeff James goes to the top of the charts. That's a guy that has to make it in on speed. He has no points to fall back on.
Remember, you gotta get the right pack, and the top 2 in this basically will make we pull the 500. I guess that's how it works.
Well, it's going to be the top two combined, or the top two speeds of combined for both sessions. So just because you're top of this chart does not mean you'll start on the front row. Depends on how the next session does. But now we'll move on to the defending champion, who actually has no points on this car because of being the defending champion. Just went up to second quick on the board as Dylan Casella goes number 1.
Nothing
but
really.
It's Mary Shelley, the defending Daytona 500 winner as well.
Nothing really to prove. She's already locked into the 500 with a past chance provisional. Only one who can say that. She definitely locked 500.
Oh yeah, definitely going to make it no matter what. But I mean, she would probably love to at least not have to rely on that past champion provisional if need be, but doesn't have points because of it.
And she doesn't have the Star Wars car this year, sadly.
Max Newirth actually getting back out on track. Let's go talk about Max Newirth a little bit now. He's actually making his Cup debut now after filling in the Nationwide and Truck Series seasons last season. Well, now we know he's going to be starting the back because of that, but didn't actually run a full season yet in either of the series, so making his first full season. We'll have to see how Max can do in the Morgan McClure car, which Washer has piloted the last few seasons.
Didn't he finish second at Pocono in his debut? So he does got some talent. I think that was in the 14.
That was Zorline. We'll get to him later. Now, speaking of rookies, Levi McIntyre in car 99, the third of the Roush cars this season. That 99 has not had a whole lot of success in this series.
No.
Most recently being driven by Vitaly Nikolaev, the Russian, was not very good at all last season.
Even got a number one season.
Well, and here's one of the drivers who made the chase last season. And it was kind of interesting season, I would say, for Henry Sanford, because he made the chase driving 2 different cars, and like once he made the switch, his season just went downhill. We'll have to see if he can actually get a rebound or not in that 15 for a full season. That the switch happening after Pigs Creek and the wreck with Elijah Workman and many switches there.
Yeah, there was a lot of like fatal and bad wrecks there.
Well, right now Alex is actually number 1 on the board, but now we're getting to Jeff James, who returning to the series, driving for Michael Waltrip Racing. And this car, like we said, no points on the 00. Right now they are 14th quick though.
I heard rumors the car wasn't even supposed to run, but they're still there. But they're still running.
Well, I don't know if 11th quick on the board would even be good enough to get in on speed. We'll have to see. Troy King, another one who would have to get in. He has no points to fall back on. He had a good season last year, but I think actually he made the chase with the 18 car, but did not do any good in the chase.
Already looking forward to if they make the chase. Got the yellow roof number already going.
And now the fast guy in practice right now, Alex Perkle, who made the switch to DEI from Roush Fenway last season. Yeah, in the 1 car, number 1 on the board. And we have a lot of guys we haven't covered yet in this group right here. Brennan Patterson returning to the 17 this season. 3rd straight season that Brennan Patterson driven 17 car. I'd love to say a whole lot, but I see that we're down to like 5 minutes, and I have no clue what else to say. I mean, he made the chase last season, but once he made the chase, he won 3. He's won most in this series.
Yeah.
Most races out of anyone in the series. Just has not been able to get that championship underneath his belt yet.
Well, he did have that horrific wreck at I wonder if that derailed his confidence a little bit.
Who knows? Kyle Matthews making the switch to James Finch's car from Hendrick Motorsports, unfortunately for him, I guess. This car actually is receiving points from the 13 last season. Currently 9th quick on the board, though.
I wonder how they get those points there.
Who knows? Driving the 43 this season, that was driven by Gene Sanford last season. It's Jessica Shelton, who drove the 9 car last season.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, it ran the 9, it did decent, wasn't great, but did decent in the 9. Let's see what it did in the 43. Almost won Montreal in the 43, so they know that they got a good road course program here.
Yep, Kyle Collins just went number 1 on the board. A rookie driving the 32. That car had 2 different drivers in it last season and finished about midway in the points for owner standings. They started out the season with Henry Sanford behind the wheel, and they were doing great. And then Charles Sanford went behind the wheel, and they just crapped out.
well, Charles did flip twice at Texas in 1 week last season, so really didn't show the talent in 32.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Kyle Collins can do on that with that team this season.
I think he's a little afraid to go.
Well, here we go. Another rookie, 6th on the board right now. It's Preston Lord. Was a contender in the Hooters Nationwide Series last season for the title. Wasn't able to quite get done with Jessica Shelton in the duo effort with Roman Rahal getting the title over there. But he's taking his talents to Morgan McClure Racing and seeing how he can do. Has no owner's points, so he's going to have to get in somehow, either through speed or through the duels on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love that number on that 04. I really hope he has some good success. It's always good to see two-car teams can rely information off each other. They can go a little more faster.
Well, now they got both of those cars in the points, or in that pack. Looking around, who have we not talked? Oh, here's one. Alex Hawkins. We saw him in the Bud Shootout last night, and he's currently 9th on the board. Driving for the Haas CNC team. He has to get in on speed or through duels because the points that team had from the 0, they decided to put him on the rookie for 66, who ironically enough is 7th quick on the board.
Honestly, we have only 2 minutes left. I know we're talking about the drivers, but we have to look at who's going to sit down that fast lap with 2 minutes to go.
Well, trust me, we are still following him, trying to talk about all the drivers who are in this session. Tom Shelley, one of the chasers last season. That car probably going to race on Sunday because of how high they are in owner's points, but they're not locked in based on owner's points. So we'll have to see how he can do. I know he's looking for another great season. And I'd probably say he's got to be one of the favorites to win the title. Up there last season as a rookie, I wouldn't rule it out for this season for Petty Enterprises.
I wouldn't rule out either. Tom Shelley had a great run. Had a terrible crash at Las Vegas. I remember that. He still had a lot of confidence. Still ran really well, though.
Well, and here's one of probably the biggest mysteries in the field. How did Chris Louvier land this seat after crapping pretty much all last season in the DEI #1?
Well, he did have that dominating performance, and I guess Hendricks pulled the Jimmy Johnson treatment on him and put him in the car for the next big thing.
Well, who knows, right? Yeah. Chris Louvier driving the 24 that was piloted last season by Dylan Young. We'll have to see how Louvier can do. Not sure if he deserved it after that performance last season. But right in front of him, his teammate, Jonathan Zorline, who I can understand this. He took that number 14 last season after taking over at race 22. They were about 38th or something in owner's points when he took it over. He took that 14 car. As Hiroshi Kazuyoshi's blown up, they're going to have to go to the back in the duels. But back to Zorline, he took that car from where they were at and put them pretty much all the way. He took them to like mid-20s or something at least. So I understand Zorline getting the seat over here at Hendrick.
Yeah, he's really good. He finished 3rd in his first start. I was pretty impressive. Still got to see him one thing done.
And I just realized something. We were talking about 14. No one bought out 14's points. I just realized that because DJ Curtis is not getting those points automatically because that's not the same team.
So we might have to miss owner points here. We're going to have to get some confirmed confirmation.
Okay, so I'm looking through here. We have not talked about Will Lewis yet, one of our title contenders from last season. Currently 14th quick on the board. Actually, there's 3 cars in this pack we haven't talked about. But it'll be interesting to see how Will Lewis does this season, making the switch from Ganassi to Roush. So not only, and then also dodged a.
Well, anyway, we got 7 seconds left in the session, and Kyle Collins looks like he's going to win duel 1.
Yeah, well, other drivers, well, now they're in standby time. Other drivers that we hadn't talked about, Sky Commons making his return to the series after a 1-season hiatus. Last season 2, we'll have to see how he does in the Evernham car. And then you have Sam Curtis also in the 66. Like we said, he's gained the points from the 0 last season and hoping to make the field here today. I think that pretty well covers anyone we hadn't talked about yet, though. Yeah, it did.
We haven't got that though.
So looking at it, it looks as though Kyle Collins will get it done. He will be the fastest in this session. That does not guarantee that he will be the pole, as he and Alex Perk will probably be watching next session really closely. That will do it. Yeah. As I'm actually just going to break the law of physics and pause time right there.
What? No.
Kyle Collins is the fastest out of this session. He and Alex Perk will be watching the next session, see if he can be the pole sitting cars. Other drivers who want to watch it, Troy King, Jeff James, Tom Shelley, Jessica Shelton. See if they can't be one of the top 6 and locking themselves in on their qualifying time.
I know what we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the 2 car.
Oh, shoot, we did not. Oh, well, Momokari in the 2 this season after Daniel Day drove it last season.
We got to know the paint scheme, though, Charles.
It's Miller Lite. Come on.
Well, you never know. They're on one of those Folds of Honor cars.
Well, that's the two cars. Momokari making the switch from RCR over to Penske Racing this season. So
Yep.
what we'll do now is we are going to jot down these times so we can remember them and see who's where. And we'll be right back for group number 2 of qualifying. Okay, and we are back. First car out for group number 2. A car that we know will race in the 500. It's Henry Powers in car number 90. He is getting the points from the 38 from last season, which means that they will race this car in the 500 no matter what happens today and in the Gatorade duels. So that's a good sign for Henry Powers. Another driver I don't know a lot about. Sorry, I don't pay attention a lot in other people's series to the cars, exactly who's driving every single one of them, unfortunately. I think it makes sense then at that point. Hard to remember some things. But definitely wishing Henry Powers the best of success here. Got a good start to the first 3 races, right? I mean, he's locked into all 3 of them. Dylan Thoreau getting the call for Robbie Gorham Motorsports. Second straight season that they will have a rookie behind the wheel as he takes over for Katie Elizabeth last season. So we'll have to see how the Jim Beam Robbie Gorham Motorsports machine will do this season with car number 7. Oh, this car. Well, this car is only going to be running 7 races, or attempting 7 races this season, so no guarantees on even making any of them, though. Tristan Wilhoit, car 21. Yeah, sorry, moving on from that one. We don't need to talk about him a whole lot. Tristan Wilhoit here, car 21, moving over from the 42 car last season to drive for the Wood Brothers here. Got a win last season, and he'll try and build on this in his second season of work here in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series. As, oh my gosh, the 05 went to the top of the board. Okay, well, that happened. Kenny Bale driving the number 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Not quite sure a whole lot on him because we haven't seen him run a whole lot. He's only ran a handful of Hooters Nationwide races, so we're not quite sure on his skills, as we'll have to see how he can do in his first full season of racing of any kind in the 3 series here. As Ish Taylor in a car that you'll see change quite a bit over the race this season. 2 different teams driving or running this 30 this season, so Ish Taylor driving for both. Yeah, this car will have to get in on time. No points for the 30 from last season to go on. No. Well, another rookie to the inside here, Jim Casella for Hall of Fame Racing in the 96. This is another team that will have to make it in on time. No points to fall back on for this team. So we'll have to see how Jim Casella can do for Hall of Fame Racing for the course of this season. Haven't seen him in a whole lot of anything either, so, or can't recall seeing him. Matthew Marias, another name I do not recognize, but Matthew Marias driving the number 19 for Evernham Motorsports. The only rookie on that team, so that's a good sign for the Evernham cars. Zachary Fitzwater's driven the 19. We've had there's been a few drivers in this, but it's not usually been a veteran driver behind the wheel. Usually this 19 seems to be reserved for rookies, essentially. Steve Pollard once again goes to the top of the charts. We'll get to him later. Zach Kreller. Zach Kreller, though, right now in the 20. Right now they have not gone to the pole speeds yet, though, in this session. They haven't even gone to the top, like, 6 speeds from Group 1 yet. So Zach Kreller, though, in the 20, currently 20th quick. Another name that's popped out of pretty much nowhere. I've never seen this name, but we'll have to see how he can do for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 20. As actually, on that note, all the Joe Gibbs drivers are rookies in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series. Allie Nelson, the only Bill Davis car that actually has points from last season to go off of, but that 22 was very low. She'll probably have to get in on something other than owner's points. Currently 15th quick, though, on the board. They are getting close to that speed, though. Yep, they are getting closer to that speed. It's a 45.89. Last session, the 6th quickest time was a 45.84. As in the 25 this season, taking over for Seth Cole. This is another car that we know will race the 500. It's Ashley LaPlante, currently 27th quick on the speed charts, though, and all by herself. Well, we'll have to see how Ashley LaPlante can do this season. I know I've seen her and stuff, but I've never really followed how well she's done. But at least we do know that she will race the first 3 races of the season no matter what. Driver we saw last night in the Bud Shootout, Cosmic Nova, driving the Ganassi number 41. He's run about 6 Coke Vanilla Cup Series races, so he's my pick for Rookie of the Year. Sorry, other rookies. I'm just going to pick Cosmic Nova to win Rookie of the Year this year. Well, I mean, it's just the fact that he's already run races in this series, so. And now we get to one of the former winners of this race in the field, Sam Young, the Season 2 winner of this race, and what was a spectacular finish when he ran it, or when he won the race. The only race he won in Season 2, which was his rookie season, did not run Season 3, but back in the series for Season number 4. Let's see how he does for Richard Childress Racing. Yep, that is the 88 of Eric Powers this season. 4th quick on the board, as they still have not gone down to the speeds from last session yet, but they still have 7.5 minutes remaining. Eric Powers taking over for Tom Gerard last season. Well, he's currently 7th quick on the board. But again, that doesn't really matter when you're trying to compare speeds from 2 different groups. He's going to get a heck of a lap, though, this time around. Had a huge draft down that back straightaway. But again, Eric Powers, the name I haven't seen a whole lot of, and making his debut in the 3 series here on this channel. 46.18 stays 7th quick. I'll let you cover Steve Pollard. He was last in the series, season number 1, I believe. It was 77, actually, that he drove back then. You're thinking of Robert Pollard in the 02. Made the chase. Might make some races. I'm not going to guarantee the top 10 finishes. Charles Jackson, car number 9 this season. I've been kind of waiting for when he'd get this ride, because I figured he'd be wanting it a whole lot. 19th quick right now on the board. Drove the 8 car last season to a chase appearance. His 2nd straight Coke Vanilla Cup Series chase. Not bad, especially when you consider his 2 different chase formats. But not sure what to expect for Charles this season. His 3rd different team in 3 seasons, essentially. Jessica Shelton drove this car last season after Nick Pericles had to vacate the ride. So we'll have to see how he can do this season, hopefully in the full-time ride. Seth Cole, 8th quick on the board right now in car 42. Drove the 25 last season was in title contention all the way to the final race, but was so far back that it really wasn't a big shot at it. Did make all 3 chases, won the Reebok title. We'll probably cover that more when it gets to Reebok qualifying. But making the switch over to Ganassi, that team didn't do so hot last year, but had some notable runs, including Homestead, but we won't say a whole lot about that. 8th quick on the board right now, as they still haven't gone down to those times from last session with 4.5 minutes remaining. I did not. Mason Neal in the 12, another name that pretty much popped out of nowhere. We'll have to see how he can do in that number 12. Ashley Brock driving the old 97 car, now a 26, the Australian. Well, we'll have to see how Ashley Brock can do in her rookie season. Another name that kind of pretty much popped out of nowhere. 23rd quick right now on the board. So not doing all that well. Chris Washer, a name we haven't mentioned yet. 3rd quick in this session. Driving car number 5, a season after driving the number 4 from Morgan McClure Motorsports. Yep. Daniel Day switching from car number 2 to car 28 for Yates Racing now. A 4th car in that organization. The 2-time defending All-Star Race winner. Didn't do a whole lot last season. So not quite sure what to expect out of him this season. Dylan Young, car number 8 this season after driving the 24 last season. Was a championship contender in all 3 and most notably the Hooters Nationwide Series. But driving the number 8 this season because the 24 got picked up before he could sign a contract with them. So unfortunately for Dylan, driving for DI now. Now here's another car that we know will race the 500 no matter what. Eric and Rage, car 29. That one had a couple different drivers behind the wheel last season. Jeff James, Elijah Workman driving that car a season ago. Elijah Workman was top 10 in points going into Pigs Creek and then had his accident that took him out of the car. Jeff James then switching from the 15 to 29 went beast mode and won 3 races. I don't know what else to say to describe it. I mean, honestly. Jay Stella, car 01 for MB2 Motorsports. Last time we saw this car, it was Seth Cole behind the wheel. Currently 17th quick right now for Jay Stella in the rookie. 2 minutes left. Yeah, not quite sure why this group's so much slower. I guess they didn't want to get grouped up as well as the other guys, so oh well. Their problem, I guess, right? Well, here's a guy who we haven't talked about yet, and it's a car that we're used to seeing Trevor Meacham behind the wheel of. Austin LaPlante in the 31 this season. Well, Austin LaPlante driving the 31 this season after Trevor Meacham vacated it. We'll have to see how Austin can do in his debut season in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series. Has had notable success in other series at least. As I was trying to get up to the 89 and then end up having pit road interfere. Amy Shelley making the switch. Huh? Well, Amy Shelley driving the 89 now this season after Mason Neal got the ride in the 12. 14th quick right now for Amy Shelley. She just ran her fastest lap of this session. Not quite sure what to expect. This car has no points, and of course, Amy Shelley, no past champions provision or anything to fall back on. Yeah, trying to look for other cars. We have not talked about the 72, who is getting the 66's owner's points from last season. Currently 6th quick on the board, but then again, all these times, not good enough to be top 6 of anyone. As I just realized, if none of these guys are being the top 6 over there, we're going to have to look at who was 7th and 8th from that session. Oops. Yeah, but Robert Pollard, now behind the wheel of 72. Now you can mention your 3 wins for that guy. Axel Casella, real quick. Stan Hoover Motorsports there in the 80, 23rd quick. Not expecting a whole lot out of this team this season. As time has run down on this session, we will look at the last couple cars that we have not covered, but time is out for the session. Jim Casella, well, no, we actually looked at everyone. Okay, good. Well, they're not even going to be scoring laps anymore. No, they've already done it. See, watch. Watch when the 96 comes back around. We did not see anyone blow up. See, no time scored. Yep, the front row. Yeah, that is going to be the front row. It's Kyle Collins and Alex Perkle who will be on the front row. Because we didn't jot down who was 7th and 8th, we cannot say who the top 6 are who are locked in on speed. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, only jot down top 3, right? Yep, they will. Well, no, they will. They would have to start at the back of the 500. We know that they will race. Other drivers who we know will race. From Group 1, Troy King, Jeff James, Tom Shelley, and Jessica Shelton. So both Petty Enterprises cars getting in on their practice speeds. Or their qualifying speeds. So we do know that those 6 drivers will race. We'd have to figure out who the other top 2 are, but we do not have that information. It'll actually follow the clip that you are watching right now.